Let's talk about No Man's Sky a week or so later. So I, like many people, were really psyched about No Man's Sky from Hello Games. It was 2 years ago, debuted as a surprise at E3 and looked incredible, and everyone was really psyched about it. Now that it's come out, it's received a lot of lukewarm, maybe negative, maybe verging on positive reviews, not the critical success that we hoped it would one day be. Maybe we overhyped it too much as collectively as consumers, or perhaps media did as well. I'm going to talk about how I feel after actually playing No Man's Sky a little while ago. So I'm still kind of hanging on and kind of not, and that's a problem because there should be some more staying power with the game. I want to say that every criticism that you've read about this game is probably true. It's repetitive. The NPCs don't add very much flavor. They can all be interchanged with each other. There's sure some slight cosmetic differences, also with the ships, also with the species you find. And it's interesting that, statistically at least, there is a massive amount of differences and variations and genetic abnormalities or just mutations or what have you in there. It's crazy how gargantuan it is, and it's beautiful in a way, but it's not really terribly fun when you just discover yourself on another resource gathering mission and you don't have enough slots for all the plutonium or carbon or whatever you need on you, and you have to send it back to the ship and shift things around. It is an exercise in resource management and resource mining. And it kind of draws the fun out of it, I would say, after a few hours of that. I mean, once you crash land with your ship and repair your ship and go to the next place and follow the Atlas mission, it's not incredibly fun. But I mean, if you look at it from another way, and I'm gonna get probably a little philosophical here, No Man's Sky is an exercise of isolation and man's inherent loneliness. Stay with me. So usually when we play games and we celebrate how diverse they are, how we can connect to each other. Like for instance, Overwatch, you're playing with a lot of other people, maybe just for a match or two. Maybe you play a different game and you form a guild, like a typical MMO. A lot of games capture how we connect with each other. This game maybe is focused on inner ennui, on isolation, on being alone with oneself. I mean, on one hand, we are all essentially alone, and instead of chiding away from that, maybe No Man's Sky celebrates loneliness, or at least isolation. Maybe it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Maybe if you embrace it after a while, you learn more about yourself. I mean, even the game celebration moments when you achieve something, it's just a small splash on the screen. Nobody sees it but you. It's very quiet, very subdued. And then you just move on with your life. And there's a lot of tedious, dull, lonesome moments that will follow after that until you get another small victory. It seems to be embracing that side. I mean, this is a connected world, but it's very unlikely that two players will ever find each other. So that happened once. On one planet, two players managed to be there at the same time and go to the same place, and they were streaming this on Twitch, but it seems like they were there at different times of the day. They were separated by time and space, which is a crazy thing to think about, or perhaps, I don't know, shitty Wi-Fi or some kind of glitch in the system. I don't know exactly what the cause of that is because we're not really designed to ever find each other. We can find traces of each other. We can find, someone named this planet. Someone was here before. They're not here now. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they'll be. I don't know where they've been. I don't know what their story is. And you're just left with what remains. So maybe from a philosophical point of view, this is an interesting game for you to learn about yourself and being alone and what it is to be isolated. I have a sneaking suspicion that is not what Hello Games exactly had in mind when creating this, but you can read it that way. I know that this game, or I believe that this game was not screened for critics. It wasn't really, there weren't review codes given out, and I think the embargo was close to launch or on launch or a little bit after launch, which is generally not a great sign. It's a little meta, but I think this would be a good game if it were the price point were between $20 and $40, but $60 just really isn't worth it unless they add some kind of extra content in the future. It doesn't really have to betray the philosophy of this game, but it needs to be something more. When I run into NPCs, they could be anyone. I don't connect with them. Their faces, there's slight differences, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, nothing really feels like it matters or is significant or will stick with me. And you can read that in the way that I said, which is not positive, or you can read it in the way that it's an exercise in loneliness, which may be a stretch, I am willing to say. Have you played No Man's Sky, audience, and what do you think of it? Do you leave with a positive point of view, a negative one, a neutral one? Are you thinking way beyond probably what the intention was like I am? Please let me know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.